Right to be Read podcast, episode number 121.
You are listening to the Right to be Read podcast, and this is your host, Ani Alexander.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Right to be Read podcast, the podcast that inspires and encourages writers. It's me, Ani Alexander, and today I decided to make something not so serious. So today I felt like having fun and taking you along with me. So the idea came from the questions that I was asking myself. And the questions were such as, so what is it that most of the writers do? What is in common among them all? And what are the different facts that we all share together as writers? So I tried to come up with a list of things that might be like signs that you are a writer. So as I said, this all is not very serious. It's just for fun. So let's just, go ahead with the things that I have noticed and see if you share those signs with me as a writer too. So, if you are a writer, then chances are that you are an avid reader, which means that you read a lot, you read almost everywhere, and your book or e-reader is always with you. And you read in cabs, in parks, in waiting rooms. Well, you've got the idea, right? So that was the first sign that I came up with. The second sign that you are a writer might be that you own many journals. You have journals of all possible shapes, colors, and sizes. You have even more than you can use, but nevertheless, you love all of them. So, the other thing is that if you are a writer, you can't walk past stationery shop. And no matter how many journals you already have, you never miss the opportunity to check a stationery shop. And you always buy something from there. You just can't resist the nice red pen or that cute notepad or something else there. And if you are a writer, then the chances are that you take the pen and the notepad everywhere with you. And you always carry them with you because you never know when the idea will hit you and have to make sure that when it does, you have a place to write it down. So I always take them with me and carry them with me along with my Kindle. The other thing is that if you're a writer, then the chances are that you have more books than friends. And I know this one sounds sad, but most probably not to a writer. Because, if you're a writer, you might be quite happy with that actually. And if you are a writer, then most probably you love watching people. I love watching people, for example, and you watch them and try to guess who they are, why are they there, what's their life story. You try to remember their looks, and later on, you can use them and you can use whatever you have observed and remembered to create your book characters and their stories. So I usually use that, and I usually watch people, and later on I use their looks and different situations in my fiction books. So the other thing is that if you are a writer, then most probably when you listen to life stories and think about how to write them in your book. So you love talking to people and hearing their stories, and each story has the potential to become a fiction novel, for example. And the other thing is that if you are a writer, then writing is always in your priority list. Or at least that's how it should be, I think. So when you have a list of things you have to do, you prefer to make sure that your writing tasks are completed first. All other things annoy you because they take you away from the writing. And the other thing is that if you are a writer, most probably you love solitude and enjoy some me time. And I think John Irving has explained it quite well by saying that solitude and time spent with yourself is crucial for the writing process. I personally love spending some time in solitude, and I personally love being by myself because it really helps me a lot with my writing and with actually listening to my inner voice and exploring my inner nature and coming up with really creative and new, fresh ideas. So, if you are a writer, then most probably you think about the book you're writing and the characters no matter what you do. Writing my latest novel, I was living it. No matter what I was doing in everyday life, the characters and the stories were always in my head and I carried them along with me everywhere. The other thing is that most probably spelling, grammar, and punctuation mistakes annoy you if you are a writer. And that is because these days, now that you are already a writer yourself, you read from a different angle. Now you are pickier about the quality of the writing. And if you are a writer, then you might hate any real and normal 9 to 6 jobs. I know that many in the US say 9 to 5. Well, in Armenia, in here, it's 9 to 6 actually. And, well, that's without the overtime, which most of us usually have. So we writers hate that normal job. And why is that? It's because normal type of job is your biggest enemy. It kills your creativity and consumes enormous part of your day, keeping you away from writing. So instead of spending all those hours at work, you would definitely prefer to write instead. And if you are a writer, then most probably you listen to other people's conversations, trying to find a new story there. When people talk in public places, they usually don't pay attention to other people. So they are consumed by their topic, and if you happen to be around, you can't help but listen and use some parts later for your novel dialogues. So, at least that's what I'm doing, and it helps a lot. And, you know, it helps me with keeping my dialogues credible and out of the real life. And if you are a writer, then you dream of making full-time income writing. I mean, I've never met a writer who didn't want to quit the normal job and have the opportunity to write full-time. So, writer's ultimate dream is making money from what he loves doing most, which is writing. And if you are a writer, then there are big chances that you hate editing. You adore the writing process, most probably, and coming up with the first draft, but you hate editing it later on. It's a very unpleasant process. I personally hate it. I wish I could skip it, but I guess everyone knows that it's impossible. So it's yet another painful process I will have to go through in order to complete my book and make it look better. So let's continue. If you are a writer, then you have your personal list of things that boost your creativity. And most probably you have tried different things and know what works best for you up by now already. So it may be coffee, it may be booze, it may be special soundtrack, whatever it is, you have found them and that's what you often use. And I'm sure that every one of us periodically needs a creativity boost, a motivation boost, and things that work best for us are the things we go to in order to get that boost. And if you are a writer, and this is the last sign I have come up with for you, is you feel guilty if you haven't written for a while. And you really do. I mean, that's what I do actually right now. Although I write almost every day, just because I have not written a novel since quite a while, I do feel guilty about it. It makes me super uncomfortable and I feel like I'm not doing what I was supposed to do. So, well, as you see, it wasn't really a serious solo episode this time, but you know, what the hell, I just decided to do that and see how, you know, whether you will like it or not. Sometimes, you know, I'm not that serious and I guess you should see that part of me too periodically. So, if you enjoy my podcast, please make sure you subscribe to it on iTunes. And if you would like to make my day, please go ahead and leave me a review. And meanwhile, have a great week. and keep writing.